sergeants of the United States Army. That's right. Finished my time at Fort Huachuca, Arizona. Was medically discharged from Fort Huachuca, Arizona in August of 2006, ladies and gentlemen. That's how I ended my career in the U.S. Army National Guard.
When we first went to Ballotpedia and pulled it up, it literally said kitchen. So I don't know what you guys are looking at because I still have it on the tab up here and I still have the photo. And it was kitchen. And again, this is the same photo dipshit used in season 1 or 2 of Clubhouse. He was like trying to hang around Veteran Circle doing his fucking bizarre fucking bullshit behavior. And sitting there going and streaming people, and he was all treated this way. It's the same thing, except now he's just basically soliciting funds, posing himself as a veteran. This motherfucker never served. This motherfucker never put on a uniform. This motherfucker never went to the Citadel.
If you look at my PTR, and like that's his name tag going in, and that's from early when we first said, and that's when I took that look at it. And it clearly says Kitover.
Well, not only that, you can do a quick little search online and you can find his background of going to the Citadel. I mean, like, I'm so confused. Like, this information's easily searchable.
Okay, Brad, PTR, because you're too lazy to look at my Instagram or you just don't know how, but look at my PTR. That's the actual officers, the lieutenant colonel and the major pinning my butter bars on. If you don't think that's me, I don't know what to tell you. I know I'm 42 now and I don't have any hair, but that is John Kitover, aka me, in the photo. Look at my PTR. That's my commissioning ceremony at the Citadel after I finally graduated college. It's me, Brad. I'm gonna post more photos. It's me. Again. Brad, listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. Okay, Brad, you're gonna tell me my life better than I know it. Okay, this is peak Clubhouse insanity. I'm just gonna keep posting more photos. Please hold, Brad.
How many general orders are there?
Brad, please hold. I'm updating PTR photos.
You couldn't even remember the...
Carry out the commander's intent, you schmuck. Protect your people and protect the assets and the equipment, Brad. Those are the first 3 general orders. I hate to break it to you, but you're talking to a former butter bar here. I'm updating the PTRs. Brad, you're going to lose this one. You're going to lose it.
Yeah, I think you're a fucking moron. I think you're full of shit. Don't into him. I know I won't apologize. Fuck you. Fuck them. Fuck him.
Listen, Brad, here's another PTR for you. This is me graduating the Citadel. That's my Citadel, senior uniform, holding my diploma. Look at that. And that's Major General Grinolds, a Marine Corps general.
Ollie, again, this isn't this motherfucker here.
It is, Brad. I don't know what to tell you, man. You're wrong, dude.
This is not Edmund again.
It's John Kitover, Edmund Dakin. I live on Edmund Street, you schmuck. Edmund is not my name. My name is John Zachary Kitover.
That Roger cooked up with.
This is not a prank, Brad. This is not a prank.
Hoping he gets through, maybe you're hoping he gets over the limit of $1,000, in which case the FBI actually does come to the door.
No, Brad. The FBI comes to the door and shoots me. All right, I'm going to have to notify the FBI in Chicago now that you're mentioning them. And I know the head, Ed Ross back here in Chicago. I've interviewed with him. I know who he is. No ankle monitor on this. That's just a strap to my paddleboard down by my boat that I'm headed to, Brad. I hate to break the news to you, but... No, I didn't name it Amistad. That was Mojo here. It's called Ladyhawk. Also, ladies and gentlemen, this is a lot of fun. And Brad, I gotta hand it to you. We need you. Without you, there would be no conflict, and it would be the most boring recording ever made. So I'm going to post the YouTube Live. You can see me in my Trump hat, in my Jesus Christ t-shirt that I bought on eBay. and you can see a former U.S. Army Second Lieutenant Butterbar. And if you want to call my roommate at the Citadel, who has used me for his background investigations as he's moved up into the military-industrial complex, I'd be happy to give you references, referrals, people that know me, that served with me. And I don't know what to tell you, Brad, but I'm not lying. I did not deploy to Afghanistan, and I did not deploy to Iraq, but I did serve in the U.S. Army National Guard here in Chicago, in South Carolina, in Georgia, in Washington, and in Arizona. That's my record, Brad, and I'm sticking to it. And I'm recording myself live. So if I'm sitting here doing stolen valor, as you suggest, I would suggest that what you're doing, sir, is slander. And it could be libelous and result in actual financial damages.
Good. I say you're full of shit. I say you're using stolen valor, and I say you're a fucking fake. Bring the lawsuit on because discovery comes into play.
Sounds good. Can't wait for you to discover the truth that you're a schmuck. I hate to break the bad news to you.
And you're fake. Accounts.
Let me get this YouTube live so you remember where the video's at, because you're gonna watch this in the future after you join the campaign to elect John Kitover and give $10. You're gonna, Brett. There's gonna be time in the future, so I'm gonna send you my DD-214s. I'm gonna send you my DD, and I'm gonna send you the last one, the discharge DD-214 that you use to get all kinds of benefits that you know about.
I don't care who you got. Like again, when this actually comes out, and Roger and others admit that this is all a big scam. And then Holly can sit down there and again, she can sit there and scream.
Brett, I wouldn't waste their time if this was a scam. This is a pretty shitty scam if it's a scam, let me tell you. It's a big waste of time if it's a scam, you schmuck.
Brad, I'm not your enemy. I'm truly perplexed by this one, though.
And again, he tried Dick in season 1. The same picture was used. It's bullshit.
And at that time, I was running for committee person, not Congress. We've upgraded to the highest level next to running for senator, which hopefully we will, or one day we'll run for mayor of Chicago. You never know where this train's going to go, Brad.
It happened, and then you actually were bigger than Chris Kyle, and then you knew more, and you actually served along him. You gave this
Chris Kyle. I never served with Chris. No, you know who I did serve it with was Pat Tillman. He was at Fort Benning, not with me in my platoon or my company, but we saw him at a distance. And again, this was in the summer of 2002 that I was at Fort Benning, Georgia, with Pat Tillman, who is now dead. And get this, I go to a VC incubator here in Chicago, and I meet the president of the Pat Tillman Association. And I've got his business card. And I said, isn't it crazy that the family had to fight so hard to get the U.S. government to admit what happened to Pat? And he just shook his head, and there wasn't much to be said. But I don't know if you saw this, but Pat Tillman's brother recently drove a car into a bank, I believe, in Arizona. I'm not making this up. I will get the link and post it right now. Please hold.
Ask everyone to do their own research. Google is your friend. You can find out the truth about people. John Kitover did go to the Citadel. There's definitely nothing fictitious about that. Whatsoever. What was that?
Picture. That person that you're alluding to actually speaking in this room right now.
That's right.
That's the claim. That's the claim.
Go people. Like I said, full of shit. And again, don't doubt me next time when I tell you don't fucking fall for this shit.
We know what he looks like through YouTube. We've heard his voice, so we know this is the same individual that's on YouTube. And then if you pair that, what you see in the YouTube videos, with the photos.
You're really fetishizes about Monica and thinks she's a wonderful person and that he thinks she's beautiful. It's full of shit.
Brad, PTR, that's me with my commissioning documents, my oath and signature to uphold the U.S. Constitution. That's me in my new Class A uniform with military intelligence pinnings in the front and on my epaulettes or whatever it is. I got my gold bars on there. So I'm clean shaven.
Epaulets that you can't even
Epaulettes.
pronounce.
You know,
Something that
I was going to ask you, how do you say epaulettes? I couldn't think about how to say it
I
correctly.
thought an officer who was of military intelligence would have that. No. I guess your dumb fucking fake scamming fucking stolen valor fucking parading asses couldn't get the fucking lingo right. Next time, don't have a veteran on stage when you try this kid, and make sure veterans aren't in the audience.
Brad, I'm going to tell you again, if you keep slandering me and committing libel, I'm going to hire the best campaign attorney that this campaign can afford, and we are going to roast you on Clubhouse. But I wouldn't dare waste a dollar that anyone has given to this campaign to suing you. I hope the constituents know that I would never waste a dollar of this campaign fund, wasting my time suing Bradley from Clownhouse.
God, shoot. You're full of shit.
I'm not going to sue you. You should be worried about what you're saying on this app, Brad.
About taking care of the mentally ill. I will for sure press charges and say you are mentally ill and get you locked up in that hospital so they have Thorazine and lithium injected into your ass for hours that shit on a kind of continuous basis. And then
Oh my gosh, Brad.
I think it'd be a fantastic.
Brad, relax. Relax, Brad. Relax. You know, I say friends for life. I agree with most things you say on this app, except when you're making death threats. It's the only time I don't agree with what you're saying. But I know you're a wealth of information. I've asked you where you get your information. You told me all these amazing sources. And I was like, wow, this guy really cares and he knows a lot. So I'm not trying to have conflict with you, but I'm also trying to defend myself because what you're doing, sir, is slander. And you are no gentleman. Anyone who comes on a Clownhouse social audio app to use profanity and vulgar against low IQ racists like Keegan or Pepe, or screaming at that beautiful, what's her face? Anyways, the ladies that you were screaming at and making them cry because they may be obese and you told them some unfortunate truths. All I can say is that I do not like making women cry. It makes me feel uncomfortable. But what I'm trying to do is find a recording from 2 days ago when you were saying atrocious things to women. I don't know. That violates the rules of this house. I won't bring in old drama. Let's just be in the now, in the muff.
Again, valor, and for those of you who is it Cindy, I don't know what this fucking idiot's name is. Holly, Hikima, Roger. Yes, he was. I don't know what to tell you, serendipity. And yeah, well, of course, John. You never served. You never put on a uniform. You never had to fucking. You don't even know what the parts of your uniform are. So again, next time, pull a trick, but make it more believable. It's almost as believable as Roger wanting the whitest of white women and the fattest of fattest women, Monica, to and flirt with, because damn sure well know that that's not Roger's type. And I've known Roger for 4 or 5 fucking years. That ain't his type. So, I mean, again, it's a good troll. I'll give you that. And apparently you got a lot of people, including Holly, who's all butthurt about it. My type is evolving.
I'm not butthurt. I don't understand why you think I'm upset.
Well, Brad, I don't know what to tell you, but I'll tell you what I did do when I was at Fort Benning, Georgia, after we did the bayonet, which is a 20-mile ruck into a river where you go across a wire, then you assault a turret or a mill box. And I got to tell you, we would have gotten wiped out. There was no leadership. The drill sergeants disappeared, and they observed from a distance, and we would have all gotten wiped out. Nobody was formed in a way that would have prevented friendly fire. We were trained for many months, and I'll tell you, the after action ready review with our drill sergeants, they dropped their heads and were shaking their heads in total disbelief of why we all just got, eliminated by this, enemy position. And I had to agree with them. We were totally uncoordinated. And It was pathetic, but we were also exhausted, and I think everybody was just like, "This is it; it's finally over." But we did not take out that enemy turret because I gotta say, I don't know what happened to us, but our conditioning, our training to do flank movements and assault positions, it just we got wiped out. So that was the bayonet. That's the culmination. And then from there, you go into the forest and you drink fruit punch, and you see all the banners from all the different military conquests of America, from World War II to World War One to uh, battles in Cuba. You see all these incredible flyers and banners they put up, and then you drink fruit punch. That's how infantry training culminates at Fort Benning, Georgia.
Well, I bet you drink a lot of fruit punch. I mean, you are what you drink. So, yeah, you are fruit. That's it.
Brad, it's a metaphor for blood, not in a fruity way, Brad. Don't project. I'm just saying that you drink fruit punch because it's a metaphor for being bloodthirsty warriors.
I will hand it to you, Roger. You did one of the most epic trolls on here. I mean, you surpassed a lot of people on here. I mean, you may have actually beat Alex New York. I think hats off to you, sir. You did it. I congratulate you. Again, running a campaign and having Edmund pretend that he's a veteran and he's other people and he's got all these credentials. Even getting Holly to believe it. Like, holy fuck, I never thought some people would be that dupable or gullible or any of those. Hats off to you. Holy shit. Like, yeah, I'm no longer going to stop people and call out bullshit and stop you Republicans and conservatives when you actually come back at me and then you'll say, oh, I'm crazy, I'm dumb. Yet for 5 years, you're going to now say, oh, I'm going to take this guy seriously. All of a sudden in a month, because Roger gave your blessing. This is the most sheep herding mentality I have ever heard of, and it's insane. It's actually insane. Hats off to you, Roger. You win.
Well, Brad, you know what else is insane? Coming on social audio chat apps and making death threats. That too could be illegal. Not just insane, but illegal. Now, I am accused often of illicit recordings, which could be violating Illinois or federal law. However, I have to say, in today's day and age, live streaming all your activities, especially your political activities, could be the safest move you make in anticipation of some type of lawsuit or counter lawsuit. Because every time you get sued, guess what you can do? You can counter sue. So change is now, and we need you, the roasters of candidate Congressman John Kitover, to donate $10, not $11, not $9, but $10. Click that link above right now.
Do it. Go ahead. Give 100. Give 100. Give 1,000. Give 10,000. Again, I recommend it. Everybody believe it. I think I've done my work here. I've done it twice in one day. I'm on a roll. I've cooked Keegan yesterday. The army sucks anyway. Like, you guys are a bunch of beta bitches, so it would make sense that you're going to try to grip the most beta bitch for the chair force. But I mean, it's a close tie there.
He was in the Navy. This guy.
I mean,
this guy was in the Navy.
But yeah, go ahead, Holly. Continue to do that. Have fun. I win this round.
I haven't even said I'm supporting him in any way, shape, or form, financially or otherwise. I'm just like, why do you keep taking it all too far?
Edmund is a veteran, is the newest fucking...
That was Revelry there. That was me whistling Revelry. There's no way I could whistle that unless I listened to that thousands of times. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've had another exciting edition of Clown House Drama. Heated conversations about nothing. People causing crises, causing slander, causing all kinds of chaos here on Clown House. Chaos agents, as I like to call them. Men that are not gentlemen. They don't know the first thing about being a gentleman, a soft man, a supple man, someone who has stopped with the road raging, sick and tired of people lying and borrowing and spending on your behalf. If you're sick of people like that, then you need to give $1 to the campaign to elect candidate Congressman John Kitover in the 16th District of Illinois. Hooah! We got the quotation marks down there, or apostrophes, who is a friend of the show and a fellow Clubhouse recorder. He might be, We'll See is contributing. Thank you, We'll See. God bless you. Serendipity, if you want to mod me, I will remove the poll, which I will say 80% of people voted that I am a veteran. 20% say no effing way this idiot served. Now, I understand if you said that this idiot didn't serve because I am a clown. I'm a comedian, and clowns are stupid idiots. So, but there is a mystical approach to being stupid that I think maybe you're overlooking. But let me pin the link again, and then this will be the final campaign shout out for a donation today, because we have to get off of Clown House. This is beyond pathetic that we're here these many hours. I feel like it's not helping the campaign. It's hurting my physical body because I need to exercise. I have been skipping the gym because Roger Mayhem has been pushing it to the limit. Everyday mojo's positive vibration grows in strength in this house, in the muff. You see what I'm talking about? That's super positive vibration. Okay, click the link above. Link has been pinned. The campaign to elect John Kitover, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, we have an EIN, we have a bank account, we have an FEC filing. To run for Congress, we have a campaign financial disclosure we have submitted, and we have raised $1,100, $550 yesterday, and I'm matching the other $550. Dr. Adams, I know we can convince you. Wallace, I think you've contributed. I thank you. And anybody else here who is considering it, just remember that I'm fully transparent. Tell me your priority, and I will put it in our collection of priorities. And we will see where your priority lines up with all the priorities and how we can financially optimize by winning this congressional district. I can tell you how Darren LaHood has optimized his congressional district by creating $20 trillion in debt. You can look at all the HR acts that he votes on and the top 10 HR acts in terms of dollar amounts. And there's his name on some of the biggest multi-trillion omnibuses in American congressional history. It's right there. Just Google Darren LaHood HR acts or go on Grok and ask, "Dear Grok, please tell me the largest HR acts that Darren LaHood has voted on," and then tag Darren LaHood and say, all the voters in District 16 should vote for candidate Congressman John Kitover on X. Go to John Kitover IL on X right now. See, all this heated debate with Brad, we could have just spent some time creating content and posting on X to attack and unseat Darren LaHood, but instead, we've got road ragers on this app who, once they get behind the wheel, they are incapable of going from point A to point B without yelling at somebody, getting in an accident, getting out of their car and punching out the other driver and screaming all kinds of profanities, vulgarities, and homicidal death ideation on Clown House. Am I deaf or am I just hearing things? Sometimes I don't know. I let it go. I don't live my life in fear. I don't think a jihadist or some mountain man screaming at me on a social audio app is going to come to Chicago and waste his time. But if they want to look at my DD214s, which I have to use all the time, I'd be happy to show them to you. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not lying to you. I'm totally transparent and telling you the truth, making a real financial disclosure Not just my financial disclosure, but a federal financial disclosure. Spending is out of control. Stop the borrowing, stop the spending. You know, I created a famous mantra on this app called BRT, CRT, BLM, LGBTQ. But the new one is stop borrowing, stop spending. Or stop spending, stop borrowing. That's the new mantra of the campaign. I know Brad has Brad has clubhouse derangement syndrome. He attacks everybody. And in the process, he's his own worst enemy. That's not how I live my life. I'd rather be poolside or at the beach right now playing volleyball, sipping on a daiquiri, doing yoga, not on Clown House, defending my honor, my character, and my sacred honor. I should have just said character and sacred honor, but you get the point. But Brad did read with us in the other room, so I'll give that shout out to Brad. You know, not everybody read a book with us. He did. So I stand with Brad, even though Brad doesn't stand with me. That's true Christian character. What reward do you have in heaven unless you're willing to let it go? You know, you got to get that. You got to go the extra step in communication. I'd like to read a couple Bible verses before we end or I leave in the muff. I hope they're more helpful to you than anything you've listened to so far today, because I get the feeling that it's just the Brad show or the Keegan show or the Jazzy show or the Roger Mayhem show or the John Kitover show. Right now, it's the John Kitover show, which, you know, it's my favorite show. And I'm not narcissistic or self-centered. I just, you know, I like reading. That's when I like when I'm speaking through reading a book, that's when I'm happiest. So take the deepest breath of the day. Hold it for 10 seconds. Listen to this. Every nursery rhyme contains profound magical secrets which are open to everyone who has made a study of the correspondences of the Holy Kabbalah. To puzzle out an imaginary meaning for this nonsense sets one thinking of the mysteries. One enters into deep contemplation of holy things, and God Himself leads the soul to a real illumination. Hence also the necessity of incarnation. The soul must descend into all falsity in order to attain all truth. For instance, old Mother Hubbard went to her cupboard to get her poor dog a bone. When she got there, the cupboard was bare, and so the poor dog had none. Who is this ancient and venerable mother of whom it is spoken? Verily, she is none other than Bina, as is evident in the use of the holy letter H with which her name begins. Nor is she the sterile mother Ama, or Amma, but the fertile Ama, for within her she bears Vau, the sun. For the second letter of her name and R, the penultimate, is the sun Tifereth, the sun. The other three letters of her name, B, A, and D, are the three paths which join the three supernals. To what cupboard did she go? Even to the most secret caverns of the universe. And who is this dog? It is not the name of God spelt Kabbalistically backwards. And what is this bone? This bone is the wand, the holy lingam. The complete interpretation of the rune is now open. This rhyme is the legend of the murder of Osiris by Typhon. The limbs of Osiris were scattered in the Nile. Isis sought them in every corner of the universe, and she found all except his sacred lingam, which was not found until quite recently, vide Fuller, the star in the west. Let us take another example from this rich storehouse of magic lore. Little Bo Peep, she lost her sheep and couldn't tell where to find them. Leave them alone, and they'll come home, dragging her tails behind them. Bo is not Bo is the root meaning light, from which spring such words as Bo-tree, Bodhisattva, and Buddha. And Peep is Apep, the serpent Apophis. This poem therefore contains the same symbol as that in the Egyptian and Hebrew Bibles. The snake is the serpent of initiation, as the lamb is the savior. This ancient one, the wisdom of eternity, sits in its old anguish awaiting the Redeemer. And this holy verse triumphantly assures us that there is no need for anxiety. The Saviors will come one after the other at their own good pleasure, and as they may be needed, and drag their tails, that is to say, those who follow out their holy commandments to the ultimate goal. Again we read, little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating of curds and whey. Up came a big spider and sat down beside her and frightened Miss Muffet away. Little Miss Muffet unquestionably represents Malka, for she is unmarried, she is seated upon a tuffet. It as she is the unregenerate soul upon Tiferet, upon Tophet, the pit of hell. And she eats curds and whey, that is, not the pure milk of the mother, but milk which has undergone decomposition. But who is the spider? Verily, herein is a venerable arcanum connoted. Like all insects, the spider represents a demon. But why a spider? Who is this spider who taketh hold with her hands and is in king's palaces? The name of this spider is death. It is the fear of death which first makes the soul aware of its forlorn condition. It would be some type of symbol interesting if tradition had preserved for us Miss Muffet's subsequent adventures, but we must proceed to consider the interpretation of the following rhyme. Little Jack Horner sat in a corner eating a Christmas pie. He stuck in his thumb and pulled out a plum and said, "What a good boy am I." In the interpretation of this remarkable poem, there is a difference between two great schools of adepts. One holds that Jack is merely a corruption of John, Ion, he who goes, Hermes, the messenger. The other prefers to take Jack simply and reverently as Iacchus, a spiritual form of Bacchus, but it does not matter very much whether we insist upon the swiftness or the rapture of the Holy Spirit of God, and that it is he of whom it is here spoken is evident, for the name Horner could be applied to none other by even the most casual reader of the Holy Gospels and the works of Congreve. And the context makes this even clear, for he sits in a corner, that is, in the place of Christ, the cornerstone, eating, that is, enjoying that which the birth of Christ assures to us. He is the comforter who replaces the absent Savior. If there was still any doubt of his identity, it would be cleared up by the fact that it is the thumb, which is attributed to the element of spirit, and not one of the four fingers of the four lesser elements, which he sticks into the pie of the new dispensation. He plucks forth one who is ripe, no doubt to send him forth as a teacher into the world, and rejoices that he is so well carrying out the will of the Father. Let us pass from this most blessed subject to yet another. Tom, Tom, the piper's son, stole a pig and away he run. The pig was eat and Tom was beat and Tom went roaring down the street. This is one of the more exoteric of these rhymes. In fact, it is no much better than a sun myth. Tom is Tum, the god of the sunset, called the son of Apollo the piper, the maker of music. The only difficulty in the poem concerns the pig, for anyone who has watched an angry sunset in the tropics upon the sea will recognize how uncomparable a description of that sunset is given in that wonderful last line. Some have thought that the pig refers to the evening sacrifice, others that she is Hathor, the lady of the West, in her more sensual aspect. But it is probable that this poem is only the first stanza of an epic. It has all the characteristic marks. Someone said of the Iliad that it did not finish, but merely stopped. This is the same. We may be sure that there is more of this poem. It tells us too much and too little. How came this tragedy of the eating of a merely stolen pig? Veil this mystery of who eat it. It must be abandoned, then, as at least partially insoluble. Let us consider this poem. Hickory dickory dock, the mouse ran up the clock struck one, and the mouse ran down. Hickory dickory dock. Here we are on higher ground at once. The clock symbolizes the spinal column, or if you prefer it, time, chosen as one of the conditions of normal consciousness. The mouse is the ego. Mus, a mouse being only some. I am, spelled Kabbalistically backwards. This ego, or prana, or kundalini force, being driven up the spine, the clock strikes one, that is, the duality of consciousness is abolished, and the force again subsides to its original level. Hickory dickory dock is perhaps merely the mantra which was used by the adept who constructed this rhyme, thereby hoping to fix it in the minds of men so that they might attain to samadhi by the same method. Others attribute to it a more profound significance, which it is impossible to go into at this moment, for we must turn to Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall, Humpty Dumpty got a great fall. All the king's horses, all the king's men couldn't set up Humpty Dumpty again. This is so simple as hardly to require explanation. Humpty Dumpty is, of course, the egg of spirit, and the wall is the abyss. His fall is therefore the descent of spirit into matter, and it is only too painfully familiar to us that all the king's horses and all his men cannot restore us to the height. Only the king himself can do that. But one hardly dare comment upon a theme which has been so fruitfully treated by Ludovicus Carolus, that most holy illumined man of God. His masterly treatment of the identity of the three reciprocating paths of Daleth, Teth, and Peh is one of the most wonderful passages in the Holy Kabbalah. His resolution of what we take to be the bond of slavery into very love, the embroidered neckband of honor bestowed upon us by the king himself, is one of the most sublime passages in this class of literature. Peter, Peter, pumpkin eater, had a wife and couldn't keep her. He put her in a peanut shell, then he kept her very well. This early authentic text of the Hinayana school of Buddhism is much esteemed even today by the more cultured and devoted followers of that school. The pumpkin is, of course, the symbol of resurrection, as is familiar to all students of the story of Jonah and the gourd. Peter is therefore the Arahat who has put an end to his series of resurrections. That he is called Peter is a reference to the symbolizing of Arahats as stones in the great wall of the guardians of mankind. His wife is, of course, by the usual symbolism, his body, which he could not keep until he put her in a peanut shell, the yellow robe of a bhikkhu. Buddha said that if any man became an Arahat, he must either take the vows of a bhikkhu that very day or die. And it is this saying of Buddha's that the unknown poet wished to commemorate. Taffy was a Welshman. Taffy was a thief. Taffy came into my house, and he stole a leg of beef. I went to Taffy's house. Taffy was in bed. I took out a carving knife and cut off Taffy's head. Taffy is merely short for Taftarath, the spirit of Mercury, and the god of Welshmen or thieves. My house is, of course, equivalent to my magic circle. Note that Beth, the letter of Mercury, and the Magus means a house. The beef is a symbol of the bull, Apis, the Redeemer. This is therefore that which is written, O my God, disguise thy glory, come as a thief, and let us steal away the sacraments. In the following verse, we find that Taffy is in bed owing to the operation of the sacrament. The great task of the alchemist has been accomplished. The mercury is fixed. One can then take the holy dagger and separate the caput mortuum from the elixir. Some alchemists believe that the beef represents that dense physical substance which is imbibed by mercury for his fixation. But here, as always, we should prefer the more spiritual interpretation. Bye, baby bunting. Daddy's gone a hunting. He's gone to get a rabbit skin to wrap my baby bunting in. This is a mystical charge to the newborn soul to keep still, to remain steadfast in meditation. For in Beth is the letter of thought, Yod, that of the hermit. It tells the soul that he, father of all, will cloth him about with his own majestical silence. For is not the rabbit he who lay low and said nothing? Patty cake, baker's man. Bake me a cake as fast as you can. Pat it and prick it and mark it with P. Bake it in the oven for baby and me. This rhyme is unusually accompanied, even today in the nursery, with a ceremonial clapping of hands, the symbol of samadhi. Compare what is said on this subject in our comment on the famous Advent passage in Thessalonians. The cake is, of course, the bread of the sacrament, and it would ill become candidate Congressman Kitover to comment upon the third line, though it may be remarked that even among the Catholics, the wafer has always been marked with a phallus or a cross. Okay, that's my mystical reading of the day. Wallace, Chris, Pete, Chris, Elke, I hope you enjoyed it. This has been the campaign to elect John Kitover Town Hall event, otherwise known as Candidate Congressman John Kitover versus Brad Stoffelschnauschelberger here on Clown House. Hope you enjoyed it. Okay, I'm not going to end the room, but I'm going to leave, and I'm just going to play the Tao Te Ching or something to that extent. I wish the room had replays, but my other rooms are on replay, which is, a good thing. So I hope you enjoyed the show. Let's just play a little Alan Watts.
Could you use up to $750? Find it at BioLife.
Thanks, Chris.
Up to $750 is waiting for you.
When a man starts to wake up,
Chris, post it to X and tag me and say Candidate Congressman John Kitover fundraiser, Brad versus John on Clubhouse. Tag Clubhouse. Tag me. There you go. Thank you, Chris.
he naturally pulls away from the crowd. Not because he hates people, but because the usual way of connecting stops making sense. Most conversations revolve around status, gossip, or complaints. And once he begins to see through that, it gets harder to engage. He's not bitter. He's not isolating himself out of pride. He's just stopped chasing what others are still chasing. He starts to notice the performance in everyday interaction, the need to be liked, to belong, to say the right thing. And without making a big deal about it, he quietly steps back. People might still wave. They might still offer small talk, but the connection is no longer there because it was never real to begin with. He didn't cut ties, he didn't burn bridges. He simply stopped pretending. And when he does that, distance happens on its own.